Welcome back to the Modern Day Overthinker podcast. Thank you for tuning back in. Or if you're a new listener, thank you for tuning in for the first time. This episode is definitely an episode where you're going to learn a lot about mental health and physical health and the correlation between the two, as well as just just a whole lot of learning on this episode with Leanna McAllister. She's a coworker of mine who I've actually never met in person because everything I do is remote, and she worked at a different office than me anyway. But we were able to have a great conversation about a variety of topics. I had to cut it off because we went way off topic and started talking about all kinds of stuff. But this is a great episode. You're going to enjoy it. Tune in. Drop a review if you're listening on Apple or Spotify. I'd really appreciate it. Share with your friends. More episodes coming soon. Listen to this episode. It's awesome. Welcome, everybody, to the Modern Day Overthinker podcast. My name is Colin, and today's guest, I have Leanna McAllister with me, and we're going to discuss a variety of topics today. And me and Leanna work together. That's how I've gotten to know her, and she reached out to me. She's studied my podcast, which is cool. So I appreciate that, and gave me some feedback. I'm always open to feedback on, what I can do and how I can make this better and what type of topics people want to hear about. So we've got a few topics for you that we wanted to discuss. And Leanna, first off, you're located in Des Moines area?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm in the actual city of Des Moines. So,
okay.
Yep.
So not one of the mini suburbs that you guys have?
No, although you would call our area Beaverdale. Like, it's technically listed as Des Moines, but you would also call it Beaverdale. I don't know. It's Des Moines on the mail. So
it's Des Moines on the mail. Yeah. Because there's like Des Moines, then there's West Des Moines, which they think they're better over there.
I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, both in Iowa. You were born and raised in Iowa?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. In Des Moines.
In Des Moines. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. I was born and raised right where I'm at too, Davenport. So
my dad's from Davenport. So
yeah. We talked about that. Went to the same high school. That's cool.
Yep. That's kind of funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've been in Iowa all my life.
So when did he move to Des Moines? College or after college? Or
he went to Grinnell, so it's I guess kind of a midpoint.
Yeah.
I guess they most recently moved to Johnston in the Des Moines area.
Gotcha.
In 1995, which was when I was born. So like they moved there and then I was born. So.
Okay, gotcha. Do you have any siblings?
Yep. Yeah, I have an older sister. She lives in San Francisco right now, but she's actually going to be moving back to the Des Moines area. It's like a magnet.
Why is she moving from San Francisco? Job or?
Yeah, job.
Seems like everybody's leaving California.
Well, honestly, part of it is that so she and her wife have a child, and they're also just kind of worried about global warming affecting California because it just lights on fire every year and it gets really hot.
A lot of fires.
And it's also like 3 times expensive to have a place there. So that's kind of where they're moving.
It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
My buddy just moved here from Seattle, and he's like, oh my God, it's great. He loves it.
It's so much cheaper here in Des Moines.
Just Iowa in general is so much cheaper. That's one of the main reasons I'm still here. I'm just like, I really, I would have to change a lot of things and adjust my lifestyle if I move somewhere, a bigger city. So it's like, I'll just visit. About that, because I'll have money to visit. So, yeah. But well, let's start out by talking about a couple familiar. I always mess up that word. I don't know why. There's like three or four words, everybody has that they just butcher every time. That's one of them for me. But obsessive compulsive disorder. So we talked about, we were both diagnosed with OCD. So when did that start becoming an issue for you? Because it's different for everybody, I've noticed.
Well,
Or when did you really
I
start?
mean, the compulsions I have are really not much of an issue day to day. So I don't think I really fit the like average bill for OCD. So I mean, I guess to answer your question honestly, probably all my life, but it wasn't because of the compulsions, it's because of the obsessions. And I was like finally diagnosed with it like when I was like 20, I think. I'm 26 right now.
Late diagnosis.
But I'm sure I had it.
That's common.
Like, I'm sure I've had it all my life. I mean, if I think back to like early childhood, I definitely had obsession
tendencies.
Like the compulsions I have are not really harmful at all. Like I do tapping. Like I have this thing where I like 1 2 3 2 wait hold on 1 2 3 1 2 1 1 2 3 1 2 1. I don't know.
I've seen a lot of people with the finger tapping thing. Like that's a very common one.
And if somebody touches like one of my shoulders, I have to touch the other one. It's like kind of like a bodily symmetry thing.
Yeah.
And then I have like verbal compulsions where like maybe if I'm thinking I'm having anxiety, I'll be like blah, or I'll be like like say something in Japanese.
Do you know Japanese?
Yeah,
That's cool.
I'm really into foreign languages. So
awesome.
But yeah, I'll usually be like gyunyu, which means milk. I don't know.
It has nothing to do with it. But yeah.
But it's a fun word to say. And
that's a cool word.
I don't know. I like it's those kind of things where like, and most of them are embarrassing, but it's not like, it's such a issue where it like damages my day-to-day life. So I think that's why, if I was having like really terrible compulsions as like a little kid, I might have gotten diagnosed sooner, but it's mostly like pure OCD as I've seen it described, where like you're mostly about those like intrusive thoughts, except it's never like an entirely obsession, like a lot of people also have compulsions. I just didn't really think of those things as compulsions. So yeah.
That makes sense. So kind of I wouldn't say you have it's like a pretty well maintained version of OCD at this point, you would say? Or
I would say it's taken me a long time to get to this point though, because really it's always really been the obsessions. It's never been that compulsions have disrupted my life. Gotcha. But here's a life hack. This post changed my life, as dumb as it is. I saw this post on Tumblr that was like, you should treat your intrusive thoughts like it's some random stranger yelling at you from across the street. And for some reason that like solved a lot of like the anxiety I was having. Because like, if somebody in the street came up to you and said an intrusive thought that's in your head, you'd be like, I'm not going to do that. Are you kidding me? Why are you telling me that? Go away.
Yeah, get lost. Yeah.
And so it kind of helped me because I was like, yeah, it is dumb. Just let it be. Just let the thought go. It's fine.
I think of it more as a bully, but yeah, similar concept.
I just try to find the humor in a lot of things. So I think the absurdity of a random person yelling at me across the street is part of part of what works for me, because I just find it so bizarre and absurd and funny that it's, I don't know. It's
because OCD in itself is very bizarre, and when you think about it, it's just like, this makes no sense, but I'm still obsessing over it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I have dogs in the basement. Their dad just got home, so.
Oh, it's okay.
That's the roommate. But yeah, so you might occasionally hear animal noises, but
that's all right. I had to put my cat downstairs mainly because she scratches the couch that I'm sitting on. Been working on that one for a while. I tried to put up these little plastic things that you can put on on the sides of the couch because she likes the
Mm-hmm.
corners, and she finds other places to scratch. It's just like a losing battle for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna declaw her because I'm not an asshole.
That's good. It's good not to declaw your kids.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I know. I will. Once you find out how they do it, you're just like, ugh,
Mm-hmm.
definitely
Yeah.
can't do that. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can do some things to help it out. But we
I
just kind of
spray her.
sacrifice.
I spray her with the spray bottle.
Mm,
Is one thing I've been doing. That's when I can catch her though. I don't always
mhm.
catch her though. That's the problem. I'm not always in the same room as her when she's doing it.
A lot of times if you use double-sided tape, that can help because they don't like how it feels. And it kind of gives them like the initiative of like realizing in their own head that they shouldn't be doing what they're doing.
Got it. Got it.
Um,
I think she knows.
Aluminum foil also helps because they don't like the sound when they jump on it.
Ooh. Okay.
So
Yeah,
I
it's
would
something
recommend those.
I just don't want that on my couch forever.
Yeah, well, I mean, really, you can just kind of put it on and off as needed, because eventually they'll be like, oh, when I jump on the couch, it makes that big, scary noise, and I don't like that. And then maybe eventually they'll go back to jumping on the couch, but then you could just put aluminum foil there too. So it's it's just kind of a simple way of telling them, of them making their own conclusion of not to do the thing,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, we kind of just let our furniture suffer in our house.
Well, I would not care as much. This is the first time in my adult life that I bought new furniture.
Yeah.
So it's different. Every other time, I'm 32, and every other time I've had furniture, it's been either a hand-me-down from my parents or I bought like some used something off Facebook or whatever.
Mhm.
This is the first time I've actually bought new furniture. So it's like, can't have nice
Mhm.
things. Just can't do
Yeah.
it.
Oh well.
It's not
Uh,
terrible. She doesn't do, and luckily it's gray, so it's like you can't really see it that
mm,
well. Uh, and the spot she does is like her favorite spot's like behind the chair, so it's like no one's looking behind
mhm.
the chair. So, it's all right. She's lucky I love her. Otherwise, I would be really a lot more upset about it.
It's too cute though. You can't
Just
be
like,
that mad.
and then she like looks at me like she'll be like like in the middle of it,
Yeah.
and I'll be like, and she looks at me, she's like, yeah, you shouldn't be doing this.
They
Uh,
know. They know for sure.
yeah, that's the one thing I've realized because I never owned a cat. I grew up with dogs. So this is a huge learning experience for me. I've had her for a few years, but before that, I had no idea. I never even thought I would own a cat because just I've been a dog a dog person.
Mhm.
And it just was really random. My friend hit me up and was just like, hey, so she's just one of those people that just like she'll just rescue animals, mostly cats, but
Mhm.
she rescued this cat and did not know it was pregnant,
Yeah.
and a lot of not a ton of kittens. I think there was like 5 or 6.
Oh yeah.
I think that's about normal. And she's like, so do you want one of these cats? I was like, okay, I guess. Why not? I mean, because I was kind of past the point where I was like, I can't really get a dog because I was commuting. So
Yeah.
it just wasn't gonna work. So I was like, yeah, cats are more. I know one thing, cats are more low maintenance. They
Mhm.
kind of do their own thing. So and I ended up with a cat, and she's yeah, she basically runs this house. I just live here.
For sure. That's how it always is.
That's how it goes. Yeah, it doesn't pay any bills, doesn't help out,
Mhm.
But yeah, she also I have to lock her out of I converted my spare bedroom into an office once we went remote, and I have to lock her out sometimes because she's just like wants attention, and she's just
Mhm.
on me, like lays on top of me. I'm like, I gotta like type around her and stuff. I'm like,
It's nice though. It's
it's
cute.
nice sometimes, but it's like sometimes like I have to make a call and she's like purring and it's like right next to the microphone.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Mhm.
sorry, you gotta go.
That's cute
Um,
though.
but yeah, it's she likes having me home all the time. That's for sure. But yeah, not uncommon compulsions from what I've heard. Yeah, the finger tapping thing. I know a couple people who do that.
Mhm.
And you have to do it like a certain number of times, like each finger, or like in a certain like rhythm, or
Yeah, I mean it's the middle finger has to be 3 times, and then these have to be twice, and these have to be one, but I can also do 3, 2, 1.
okay. What's the fear if
I
you
don't know.
don't do that though? Is there something behind that?
Not really. I mean, that's probably part of the reason too. I didn't necessarily think I had OCD, is that my compulsions don't necessarily
Have obsessions behind them?
have, well, I don't know. Like they're not like really doing anything
I
to
shouldn't say
prevent an
obsessions behind them. I
issue.
should say an intrusive thought behind the
Well,
compulsion.
yeah, like it's usually like a intrusive thought or an obsession that happens, and then I do the compulsion, but it's not like the compulsion itself is preventing the bad thing from happening in my head.
Mm.
Like, sometimes people will be like, they'll check their doors so that somebody doesn't come in and kill them or
Yeah.
something. The tapping does nothing. It's just a way for me to like distract myself from the obsession. It's not like it doesn't serve a theoretical functional purpose.
Okay.
Um,
So it's more of a to keep your mind away from the actual thought.
I think so. Yeah,
So
I,
it's
I
like
think that's
it's an
the
avoidance
reasoning.
tactic.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really
that makes
just
sense.
avoidance tactics. Although I
Which
do kind of,
most compulsions are.
Mhm. I do kind of have some checking tendencies, but here's the thing is they're kind of justified because I have ADHD. So I do have to kind of, like, ADHD sometimes involves a lot of people like losing items or forgetting to do routine things. And so
Mm-hmm.
kind of having those checking systems helps to combat those ADHD situations. Although I do kind of have a stop in my head, I guess, where I'm like, it's really going to bug me if I don't wash my hands after I just touched the sofa. But guess what? It doesn't really matter. So I'm not going to wash my hands, like stuff like that. I have to just be like, it's going to bug me, but I'm also going to forget about it in 2 seconds. So I need to not do it, like,
You're basically doing ERP without even knowing it right there, by the way.
uh,
Which is
that makes sense.
exposure response prevention, which you probably already know that, but for
Yeah.
those
I
that
didn't,
don't know
I
what
didn't know the
ERP is,
abbreviation, but yeah,
yeah.
that makes sense. Cause like, it doesn't matter how much I keep tapping, really. It's not going to do anything harmful. Although I do have finger issues. So maybe it will eventually. But, like if I continue washing my hands, then they're going to get dry and then they're going to get painful. And so I think at some point I'm just like, it's going to bug me, but I'm not going to do it because it makes no sense. Because part of the other weird,
And have you learned that through therapy, or is that just something you've like kind of trained yourself on?
I guess trained myself because like having OCD and ADHD at the same time is like such a weird experience
It's a weird combo. Yeah.
because if you also have ADHD, your mind tends to kind of jump around. And so I kind of know that if I ignore that compulsion, I'll forget about it in a little bit and
Yeah.
it
Because
won't
you
be a
have
big
something else
deal.
going on. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just kind of tricky because sometimes my compulsions of checking and, cleaning and whatnot are justified because my brain moves around so fast. But also on the flip side, I can avoid some of the more stressful situations because my mind moves around so fast. Because like it's like a weird like life hack that sometimes works and sometimes makes things worse.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's almost like your ADHD is almost fighting your OCD for you
Mhm.
sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it just like in terms of like how these things are like stereotyped, like OCD is all about, it's just speaking in like tropes and stereotypes, is all about like organization and fine processes. Whereas ADHD, they're always like flighty and they don't think about like keeping a topic going or something, like,
Mm-hmm.
and so it kind of, if you even like just think about it from that basic like stereotypical trope media level, it kind of is like counter opposed to each other. So you kind of, sometimes people are like, how do those work together? And the answer is like, weirdly, they do
Weirdly,
sometimes.
they almost cancel each other out. Not all the time, obviously.
Yeah, it's like my ideal way of thinking is like focusing on a task really intensely for like 15 minutes and then moving to a different other task for 15 minutes and then another task for 15 minutes. um it's I really do definitely struggle with each of those things individually,
Mm-hmm.
but in certain situations it's kind of nice to have both of them because I don't necessarily have to deal with the strongest ramifications of one. um but yeah, they definitely have given me a lot of struggle, so it's tricky. It's kind of like a situation by situation thing.
Yeah. And the ADHD, when did you really notice? I mean, obviously, have you just noticed that your whole life, or is it? It was kind of
um
like when you're a little bit younger than me, but when I was growing up, it was almost like that was like the flavor of the year or whatever, or the trend
mhm.
was to diagnose kids with ADHD and just give them Ritalin, give them drugs, and
Yeah,
turn them
I
into
mean,
zombies. And
mhm.
so I don't know if you were a part of that, but
No, I wasn't.
you actually have ADHD, because I know some people that were like said they were ADHD, like, and they actually aren't, that
Mhm.
type of situation. Um,
So most of my diagnoses, like I really wasn't diagnosed with anything mental until I was like 17. Like most of these have been like self-advocated diagnoses. So I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was 17, because I thought that I fit a lot of the criteria. So I I
mhm.
was I was actually going in. So I have like neurological hallucinations associated with migraines. So sometimes I'll like in a stressful situation, this is so weird to explain. Like time will slow down and I will hear voices. So I went in for that, but I was like, hey, while we're here, I think I have ADHD.
Yeah, while
So
I'm here,
yeah.
let's talk about this. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's when I got diagnosed with ADHD because I guess I've always had those kind of weird temporal distortion hallucinations, but it was during my senior year when I was like doing like ACT stuff, when I had like a big like hallucination episode during a mock ACT test, which that was not fun because
No.
I I just couldn't think right, and it really stressed me out. So that's why I went to the psychiatrist. But I was like, I also think I have ADHD. Can we get that looked at?
Yeah. And the neurological thing, is that a part of your physical disability, or is that
I mean, it's all the same thing in a sense.
okay?
I think it's a part of my migraines. So
Okay.
I think it is related to Alice in Wonderland syndrome, where basically I always have like a 1% of a 1% of everything. I have so many random like little things in my brain, but Alice in Wonderland syndrome traditionally, which is already a rare syndrome, is when you see objects like increase or like grow and shrink in size, and your body might grow and shrink in size. So in my mind, it was kind of like that, except I wasn't actually seeing anything physically shrink in size. I was seeing time slow down. I
Okay.
have no idea how to explain it to somebody who hasn't experienced it, but it's like time is slowing down, but also I'm hearing my own voice speaking separately from my normal voice in my head. And also there's static and whale noises. I
Okay.
don't
And
know.
does this still happen?
Um, in little blips, like in like 1 or 2 second blips, but it doesn't really happen now, probably because I'm on medication.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, that's a whole weird thing because it's kind of like if you ask me if it's a mental or physical disability,
It's tied
well,
together.
yeah, I mean, it's a physical disability in my brain. And I don't think it's entirely just like traditionally like a neurological situation because it's usually triggered by like anxiety attacks. So
Okay.
that's kind of the tricky thing. Like, so I also have there's a few other things I have. I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a genetic hereditary disease where basically all the joints and like the ligaments in your body are stretchy. So it sounds kind of weird, but it's like everything in your body works at like 80% of normal function or less, depending on who you are. Like I can walk, I can do some exercise, but some people with that disorder, even at my age, are completely bedbound because it's just so painful to move. But like, here's an interesting thing. If I'm going about my day and something triggers me in some way, let's say it's like a trauma trigger and I get an anxiety attack, I'll tend to dissociate. Do you know what dissociation is?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I'll dissociate and then
it's basically like checking out for a little bit.
Yeah. It's like checking out, but it's like extreme zoning out.
Yeah.
Where like I can't bring myself back intentionally very well.
Gotcha.
So then when that happens, all these like little muscles in my body that I've told to keep certain ways so that my ligaments can stay intact, those I don't have the mental energy to attend to. So then I start like limping or not being able to walk well, like that's kind of like the weird connection between like those mental illnesses and physical illnesses, because like when one thing goes wrong, everything goes wrong.
Yeah.
And because I have migraines, if I'm getting stressed out, then I'll get a migraine. So now like because I got triggered by something that triggered my PTSD, now I can't walk well, I'm in pain.
Yeah.
It's like this whole
cycle.
Debacle. I can only laugh at it because it's so like, come on, man, this ain't fair.
Yeah.
It's like a rude genetic lottery. But I mean, I just learned to laugh and live with it. It's just annoying when it happens, of course.
Yeah.
So it's a weird experience. Here's another fun thing. This is actually like a legitimately fun thing, not actually just saying that to downplay. I have synesthesia as well. So, do you know what synesthesia is?
I do not. No.
It's so like in your brain, there's like several different lobes that are more like allocated to certain function. Like the lobes above your ear, the temporal lobes, and there's the occipital lobe, which is like kind of like back here. Anyway, like there's like the occipital lobe is for your eyes, kind of, but the brain can do all sorts of different things with different functions if it loses a part. Anyway, basically the barriers between in my brain that are telling each other don't mix these senses are lessened. So I have mixed senses for things. So like all letters and all numbers are in color. When I'm in pain, I can sometimes see color. I have sound pain. So like if somebody says something and it's loud, if they say it from a certain direction, it'll feel like it hits me like in that area, and I'll be in pain in that area.
Wow, that's interesting.
So
I've never heard of this.
You'll have to look it up. It's not necessarily like a bad thing. It depends on like the variations you have.
How do you spell it?
SYNESTHESIA.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely have to look that up for sure.
So it's like this absolutely absurd chain of events where like I'll have it like a PTSD trigger. I'll get an anxiety attack. My body will start falling apart. I'll get a migraine, and then I'll start seeing colors.
Yeah, that's a lot going on at once.
So rude. It's like, come on.
Yeah,
this isn't fair.
And how long does that usually? How long can that happen? Like as far as the timeline?
It really depends on the situation. I think when just starting off with like an anxiety attack by itself, I need to be able to deal with it on my own time. I need to be able to sit in a place, not have people interact with me or expect me to give output to them when they ask questions. And usually it lasts about 20 minutes. Everything else just kind of depends on the situation. Like, yeah, I would say like, I guess the full experience, maybe 20 minutes, but different things of that will come in and out, like, there's been times I have chronic daily headaches So there's been times when I've had like a horrible migraine that's lasted like 2 weeks, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it's like a, I don't know, it's so situational that it's kind of hard to describe how long it takes. But I would say anxiety attacks nowadays usually 20 minutes or so.
Yeah. And how often do you usually have anxiety attacks? Like daily or weekly, or does it kind of depend? Or
It's not very common nowadays. Like thankfully I am in a pretty good place. Honestly, like probably once every few months. It used to
that's
be
good.
like probably several times a day.
Yeah.
But yeah, and you know, sometimes I'm not having an anxiety attack, but something disorients me. Like for instance, my parents and I went to Hades Town, which is a really cool musical. And when the lights came up, I couldn't walk right because I think the change in lighting
Mm.
messed up my vestibular sense. Here's another thing is I'm just giving you my full diagnostic roster, but I might as well. Like
Yeah.
when I was little, I was diagnosed with benign paroxysmal positional vertigo, which is like crystals in your ears that form and throw off the liquid in your ears that shows your vestibular senses, like tells you basically balance. So, and I sometimes have I have like vestibular issues where I sometimes I just get dizzy just cause. So basically when the lights came up at that point, then I was like, oh, I can't walk because I'm all funky. It feels like my head's kind of floating around itself and I can't really tell where I am. And because I was kind of in that zone, it felt like a little bit less real. So I was kind of dissociating. And then my legs started kind of being funky and not really working right. So that's just an example. But I was
It's
totally emotionally fine.
like an overload of your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Your
But like
brain
I
is
was, oh, sorry.
emotional. Yeah, emotionally, you weren't having a panic attack.
Yeah, I was fine. I was talking to my parents all the time. I'm like, just so you know, like I'm fine. Like I'm thinking fine. I just can't walk right.
Yeah, I'm just a little frozen right now.
Yeah, it's more like like my knees don't remember how they're supposed to like properly move, so they just kind of lock in place and release and lock in place and release, and
Huh.
it's just a weird combination of a lot of weird things.
Yeah, that's quite the
It's
combination of things. A lot of
it's
big, especially synes synesthesia.
yeah, you'll have to look it up. There's a lot of cool things about it.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a new one. That's another
mhm,
thing about this podcast. I learn something every single episode that I do. Whether it's a new diagnosis or just something about a particular disorder, or
mhm,
you know, yeah, I'm all about learning stuff. And I hated school, which is the funny part. I did not like
mhm,
school at all, but that's because I had other things on my mind during
mhm,
school. Um, get distracted very easily. And I also worked a lot in high school, and then in college. I basically thought college was just an excuse to party all the time. So that was
mhm,
fun for a while anyway, but stupid. It's like I didn't take advantage of, you know, I just did what I needed to do to get by and pass my classes.
mhm,
Um, but I thought about going back to school at some point. I'm not quite ready. It's been a recent revelation, I guess,
mhm,
or a calling, I should say. Just because I don't know, it just seems like the right thing for me to do and something I would enjoy, and that's being a therapist or a counselor.
mhm.
But there's a lot of school involved. I have a
Yeah.
bachelor's degree, which is not, but it's not related to psychology whatsoever. I have a business degree in marketing.
Mhm,
But I've been through higher education, but so I'd probably just try to get my master's. I wouldn't want to go for doctorate. I think that's too much.
mhm,
I gotta know my limits and what I can do and what I can put myself through. Really,
mhm,
I don't want to overload myself, and
Yeah,
So
that's really important. Because like I feel like that's something I had to learn is that, if you put your mental health on the wayside to do good work, you're not going to do good work.
mm-mm.
Or if you are going to do good work, it's going to hurt you later. You're going to have to pay the price. So like
Yep.
that's just something that I've had to kind of learn because I really had a bad the worst that I was with my mental health was definitely in college. I have a 2-year degree. I ended up dropping out of the 4-year because I was just like I was not in a good place. I wasn't medicated on anything except for ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like I don't know. I
It's
was just
such
like really
a
depressed.
it's such a weird time, like
Hmm.
in our brains, and just
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's kind of hard to know how much I've progressed because I'm only in my own brain, but just like speaking to people, they're like legitimately like shocked how much I've changed. Like I would say like definitely like in middle school and high school, for instance, there were days where I would just not say a word like the entire day. Like I would have
mhm,
friends maybe, and I definitely had some very close friends, but I just did not talk. I was just
too much going on.
yeah, I don't know. It's something that I'd probably have to dive into more, but I just didn't want to have to. I was just really socially anxious. Let's just say that I just had big social phobia.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was the core of it. But also, I just was angry and sad, which a lot of teens are. But I just had a lot of crap in my brain to sort through. I think that I want to didn't want to have to sift through and just wanted to get along with life. And then eventually it all hit me, and I'm like, God damn it, I have to actually deal with these things now.
Yeah, yeah. You
You
can
can't just
only
ignore
push
things.
things aside for so long.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
yeah.
it is true that your mind does change and it becomes, things do tend to get easier when your brain is like chilled out and it's actually like developed all the way. But
Mm-hmm.
you also need to like, you can't just push your mental health to the side. You need to at least understand it at the very least, even if you are going to take the approach of like powering through it, which, there are people who can get by without going with medication or therapy, and then they learn their own mechanisms of coping and whatnot, and all the more power to them. Um, but you need to at least understand what's going on
Yeah.
and acknowledge it in order to be able to do anything about it. So it's just the teenager brain, or the
Oh
young
yeah.
adult brain of saying, whatever, fuck it, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to do anything to deal with this
Yeah.
or do the
Yeah.
wrong things to deal with it. So
Oh yeah. I know all about doing the wrong things to deal
mhm.
with it.
Yeah.
uh yeah. Um yeah, it's you sometimes you have to learn the hard way, is I know.
I
And I
think I also just and this kind of ties into trauma, which we can talk about, but I think a lot of the struggles that I had were such a lack of trust of other people,
mm,
because I didn't want to open up to many people about things because I'm like, they're going to turn on me. Like I had like this kind of mentality of like, if somebody would compliment me, and I still have to kind of fight it, but if somebody would compliment me, especially in like high school, college, or middle school, I'd be like, okay, what's the catch? What are you
yeah.
saying? Like if somebody would be like, oh, you're really smart, I'm like, okay, how are you going to use this against me?
Uh
And
yeah.
it sounds kind of absurd from an outsider's perspective, but I also dealt with bullying as a kid too, partially because I was weird. I was a weird child who tapped her hands and also had PTSD. So I was like not very aware of how that affected me.
Yeah.
it,
I get it.
I don't know. Middle schoolers have like this razor's edge accuracy of determining who are the mentally ill children.
They're the best roasters. I
They're the
mean,
best roasters, and they also just have this innate like sense in their hormone addled brains of how to pick out the fucked up kids.
yeah,
Like,
there was a man, I can't remember the bit, but a comedian I like a lot. John Mulaney, I don't know if you know who that is.
oh yes.
He has a bit about it where he got roasted by some teenagers one time. They're like, they were just so specific, and they just knew exactly what to say
They're
to get
it's
me. Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Like, and a lot of those people, maybe they grow up to be mean too, but they're not mean in the same like vitriolic pinpointed way. I don't know. It's like something about like being that in that like hormone.
You're so angry
You're
and
just so angry and you probably hate yourself, but you also want to take it out on other people.
oh
So
yeah.
you might as well like be a like it's so they're so good at it. I hate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, like I think gosh, what was I
And the
saying?
bullying has gotten so much worse now. That's what I've heard. It's just because of
I mean,
technology and social media.
I'm certain that it's taken its new forms. Like I mean, I grew up with social media a little bit, but
A little
I
bit.
never really. I always made my like own day-to-day personality and my social media very different, distinct entities. I still do. There's still a lot of things that I find fun in or activities I do that I do not associate with Leanna McAllister whatsoever. Because I do like that kind of separation. But yeah, I think a lot of pushing off like seeking help or even talking about issues was because I had such a lack of trust in people. So, and I can talk about this.
Does that come from the trauma?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does. So yeah, I'll talk about this because I think it's really important that I do. And it's like, it's interesting and also absurd. So let me talk about my trauma. Fun time.
There's really nothing that you can say to me that's going to be like make me think differently of you.
I'm sure you've judging by the circles that you've been in, you've heard quite your fair share of stories.
Oh yeah. And people and that's another reason why I want to be a therapist is like people tell me the deepest, darkest things about them anyway, without even me asking. It's just like,
yeah,
I'm that guy.
So you're just a very calm person to, I know, like,
so it's like,
you just have a calm demeanor.
It's like, I might as well just make this my occupation. It makes sense, but school. So
I think also if people know your background and know the places your mind has been, and it's not like I know your mind, but just judging on your background, I think people gravitate towards people who they think can
understand,
can empathize. Yeah. Or even just even if they can understand, if you're, I mean, obviously, if you're doing a mental health podcast, you probably care about people's mental health. So
yeah,
I would hope.
Yeah.
So they can come to you.
I'm not just a complete narcissist. I mean, I do like seeing views go up and like viewership.
Oh, that's fine.
That's cool. It's I do. Do I get something out of that? Yes, but it's like, that's not why I'm doing it. I'm just gonna keep doing it because it's fun to do, and it's a challenge too. It's another, because I've always been bad with consistency. So I want
that can really help mental health if you just do a thing over and over.
Routines and consistency. I'm learning a lot about that lately. So I threw us off there. So we'll get back into the trauma and discussing that.
That's fine.
Getting into that a little bit deeper.
Yeah. So okay. So see, it's a weird trauma story that is also pretty common, but also not many people realize how like fucked up it is. Okay. So basically I from about the ages of 3 and 5, I went through medical abuse with a sexual undertone to it. So basically, I want to start off by saying that I love my parents and they're really good people, and I do not blame them for this at all. So, but basically what happened was that in about like 1% of children, there's this reflex from the kidneys where when they urinate, it comes back up into the kidneys. And so to screen for this, you have to have children go through something called avoiding cristourethrogram. And
that's a big one. It's a big word.
Yeah. It's usually just abbreviated as VCUG. So I'll just call it that.
So many acronyms. Yeah.
Yeah. And this one isn't a disorder this time. So I'm going to try and explain this in like the least biased way possible. And you can probably even glean from that why this would be traumatic. So the way that they test this, at least back in my day. Now there's a few more regulations.
Yeah.
Back in my day, in like 1998 or so, there's more regulations now. But back in my day, what they do is they bring you into this room. They tell you to take off your pants. They put you on a table. They hold you down. They spread your legs. They put a catheter up your urethra. They fill your urethra with radioactive liquid. Your parents aren't allowed to be in the room. They have to leave because it's radioactive. And then they fill it up and then they force you to urinate in front of many adults. Well, they take pictures because the whole, now I'm sounding more biased, but the whole idea is that they're trying to see from a purely scientific perspective, they're trying to see how the radioactive liquid, while they're taking pictures, if it goes back up into the kidneys. Because if it does, then it indicates that you have that reflex. And then it needs to be treated, potentially, eventually with surgery. So that's, I'm shaking a little bit, but that's fine. I want to talk about this.
Yeah.
Do you understand why that might be traumatic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Here's the kicker. Back in my day, they didn't use sedation or anesthesia.
You just had to deal with that.
Yeah, isn't this like insane?
It sounds like it sounds like very outdated procedure.
Isn't it bizarre? Like, okay, that's part of the reason. Like, the reason I figured this out was that I went to a doctor who was, so like I said, I mean, this is TMI, but whatever, man, whatever.
Oh, we've heard some.
Basically, I went to a adult, like a OBGYN. It was like a combo. It's like basically somebody who deals with that area because I have loose muscles everywhere, let's say. And she noticed that I was having really traumatic reactions to what was happening. And she's like, yeah, things have changed at least a little bit and you should have been sedated. And I was like, oh, this isn't just a me thing. I'm not crazy, apparently. Because like I didn't remember as much of the procedure as I thought I did. And then I looked it up and I was like, oh, like, how does someone not be traumatized by this?
Yeah.
And with girls, they don't give you any anesthesia. With guys, they do, which is weird because I guess it's a longer entry. But still, I mean, I think it's good to have
more
anesthesia.
Uncomfortable entry, but it's still uncomfortable either way, I would assume, obviously.
And the thing is, too, like as an adult, if you have it, it's not as traumatic, or it could be, but it still could have pain. But if you're an anxious child being held down by adults, then it's going to be painful. So that's when I kind of realized that, and I realized I'm like, holy crap, that's really bad.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Isn't like, and I don't want to say that like BCOGs are always like this, because ideally now they at least give you anesthesia, they give you sedation, and they also just talk through with you and your parents on the procedure. Like, so I don't want to come across as though I think the procedure itself has to be traumatizing. But even now, I mean, you know, I'm seeing stories from people like from like 2008 and stuff, you know, like which would be 10 years after I had my few procedures. They're still saying my child came back is absolutely traumatized. You know, like, it's like, come on, like, I feel like we got to do something about this. And it's kind of, it was interesting looking up how people reacted to having the BCOG like years later versus how it's talked about in hospitals. Because like all these hospitals are like, oh, there's no pain. And I'm like, are you sure?
Yeah, you sure?
So
physically there was pain too, right? I would assume.
It was,
I mean, that's a really young age, so it's
I do remember some things. I remember being upset. I remember being very upset, but I don't remember the full pain. But I did have catheters later in my life, and I remember there being like a slight pain. Yeah. But like when you're like a very small child and also you're very anxious and very angry and your parents have left the room.
Yeah.
It's
like,
it's a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
So it's like
probably have a little bit of, or had a little bit of
anger towards your parents, like, oh, why'd you let this
Yeah,
happen to me?
and that's not something that I was able really to pin down, but like now going back and thinking about my childhood, like thinking about all these like little things that I thought I was just a weird kid for having these experiences. I'm like, oh, that makes so much sense. Oh, that makes so much sense. So like, yeah, for the longest time, my parents are like people who have met them are like, these are like the perfect people. Like they are, I really want to emphasize, I love my parents. They are very, 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 very good people.
Yeah, this sounds like nothing they did wrong. So, I mean, they were just
Yeah.
going with whatever the doctors were telling them to do.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, honestly, it's a traumatic experience for a parent too, because a lot of times they don't even tell you, oh, your child has to urinate on the table too. Like
they didn't walk them through it
scary.
really. They're just kind of like, this is
So yeah, but like thinking back, I'm like, I had a fear of darkness. I had a fear of people looking at me. I had a fear of photography. I had such a thing with like people looking at me that my stuffed animals could not be facing me while I was sleeping. I had to turn them around to make sure they weren't looking at me when I was sleeping. And if my friends came over and like picked them up and put them down and they were looking at me, I would have like a panic attack. And like, I thought I was weird. And I mean, I am weird. That's fine. But
that's fine.
If you think about like how the procedure works, it's like, oh, God damn it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And
I can't say I disagree with you at all. So.
Yeah. Like it's bonkers to me, dude.
Yeah.
Like
it just seems very barbaric, like in a sense, like the way
it's so bizarre. And like the worst thing is like, if I came away from that procedure and like the whole world was like, that was horrible, that was terrible, I'm so sorry you went through that, I probably wouldn't have been as traumatized. But when I came away from it, and not necessarily my parents, but like it was per procedure. I was just throwing a tantrum. And so like then it kind of set up this like precedent for like whenever I had some sort of mental issue or physical issue, I'd be like,
then I'll be like, because then you'll be judged by it or victimized.
Yes. So both, I would keep it away from people because I didn't trust them. And also I would gaslight myself. Basically, I'd be like, I'm making a big deal out of this because it's not a big deal. And here's one of the things that like, there's a few things that like made me realize how like upsetting my experience was. One of them was connecting with other people who've been through it and reading stories where people have literally been raped after they've had a VCUG, like years later, and they've been like, oh, thank God it's not a VCUG at least.
Wow.
Yeah. And like,
and you'd think that would be a worse experience.
Yeah. And it's tough because like, I definitely do not want to invalidate rape survivors.
No,
but I also
absolutely not. But
I also,
if you've heard that comparison from people who have been through both, that says something.
That says something, right? Like, it's really tough because it's like,
because both are traumatic experiences, obviously.
Yeah. And it's still your brain, like when you're that young, you can't tell the difference between a medically certified per procedure and rape. Like, so the fact of the matter is, I mean, every professional I've talked to said it was medical abuse, but my mind is also still like, I don't know, maybe it wasn't, maybe I'm just making a big deal anyway. But like, the fact of the matter is, in the mind, my little 3-year-old brain took it in as sexual abuse, so I might as well treat it as such. You know,
it's same ballpark.
It's the same ballpark. And it's just like, it's not like everybody comes away from the procedure traumatized, but if you're being negligent to the patient or you're not following the process, and maybe they were following the process and it's just a shitty process.
That's
it definitely could have been. But it comes across the same way. And so I eventually kind of, I mean, honestly, only over the past year or so, I've been trying to embrace the fact that I was traumatized and it's okay. And it's like, I'm not just making a big deal out of it. And it's just a shitty precedent. Like, I think that is literally my first memory. And it's such a shitty precedent to have to like grow up with, in that it's it is what it is, but there's so many things where I'm like, man, if I didn't have that traumatic experience, I would have probably been so much more open with people in my life, you know, and stuff like that. And like, but it's also kind of given me an appreciation of like owning it, I guess.
Yeah, you have to.
So I don't know. It's so weird because, and this is something that a lot of people who've been through this or other like sexual trauma experiences, and I'd call it a sexual trauma experience, even though like I don't want to say this to like implicate the people who are doing it, even though it was medical abuse. I don't know why my brain is like, I have to protect those people. I'm like, I have to protect those people. And even though I've talked to other professionals that are like,
yeah, you're not naming them, so it doesn't.
I mean, I don't even know their names.
Yeah, you don't.
I was 3, I don't remember.
Yeah, and they were probably just doing their job. I mean, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing.
Which is as messed up as it is, but
there's just, I think the other thing is like, I talked to my therapist and she's like, there's loads of things that we would consider sexual abuse that were legal at the time, you know, like in Canada, there were, for educational purposes, there were doctors who would do like vaginal exams on women while they were passed out without getting their consent before knocking them out. Like if they were already passed out, for like to teach their students, they're like, here's how you do a vaginal exam. And it was legal.
Hey.
And it's like, and like thinking of that, I'm like, well, that was legal. I would definitely consider that sexual assault. So why am I invalidating my experience? Because it's just like,
as humans, I mean, we did a lot of things that are, and you know, as we just got to hope that those things change once we realize how bad they are, you know, how traumatic and how impactful they can be on people that have to experience that. And it sounds like they've changed that process from what you've gathered
a little bit. Like it's tough because,
or at least like they walk them through it. And
so as of 2011,
it's not like you're you never know, but
it's tough because like a lot of it, I still was, because I was really curious about that too, and looking at a lot of medical literature there, I still would say things like, if you have a young boy, he'll get anesthesia. I'm like, okay, can the young girls get it too? Like I get the physiology of why, but can we also just get it?
Yeah, there's no shortage of anesthesia that I'm aware of.
It's just like, you know, it's just a gel, you know. But anyway, and it's still annoying because looking at like the medical documents today, a lot of them are like, it won't be painful for your child. It won't be painful for your child. It'll just be uncomfortable. I'm like, depends on the radiologist and the nurse. Are they good at their job? Do they know what they're doing? Is the child chilled out, or is the child thrashing around and have to be held down by adults that they don't know? You know, like that's, it's just annoying because there's so many stories of parents going in and trying to coach their child on what will happen. And maybe the child completely understands, and they go in and some step has been totally not explained to anyone. And then they come out of it and they're like, Mom, you didn't tell me that. Why didn't you tell me that? Did I do something wrong? You know? And like, that's so messed up, man.
That sounds awful.
Yeah. I don't know. I think part of me is just like, I'll just own it. Because even though my subconscious mind kind of wants to fight it, I didn't do anything wrong. Even though my mind kind of wants to blame myself.
Oh yeah. I mean, you were.
It makes no sense.
No.
It makes no sense to blame my 3-year-old self. But my mind's like, no, you know, maybe you did it. You weren't good enough.
No.
It's ridiculous.
It is.
But
it's ridiculous. Yeah.
It's just kind of that thing. I think the traumatized brain tries to protect itself to a degree. And sometimes almost some of that is gaslighting itself and downplaying itself, because it's like, we want to make it less of a big deal, so we don't have to deal with the ramifications of its reality, you know. I've also tried to empathize with my own subconscious mind more, which sounds silly because I'm one person in one body, but there's things that my subconscious mind is keeping for me that I'm now kind of allowing it to tell me, I guess. And I have to understand that it's been protecting me, and I need to talk with it and say, not all of this is good. I don't want you to do all these things. I want you to let some boundaries open. But part of like being like a survivor of a childhood sexual trauma experience is learning to just comfort that child, comfort the child that you would have been. And so much of that is stored in the subconscious brain. So one thing I'm doing right now is I'm doing hypnosis, which is, it's really interesting. So that's what I'm doing. If you've done like sensory deprivation tanks, I haven't done sensory deprivation tanks myself, but if you have, it's probably going to do something similar for you. Like I would say, and you don't have to do it, I'm just saying, you know, if you ever did hypnosis, I'd say it kind of feels like when you're about to fall asleep and maybe you're seeing like flashes in your brain, you know, on just a normal day, except you're not sleepy. And I know we're getting kind of close to time, so let me know if you want me to wrap things up. But the thing about
we're getting there, but it's okay.
Yeah, I could just talk about hypnosis real quick because I think it's really handy for people who've been through traumatic experiences. Is
it similar to meditating or no?
I guess I don't really know what the distinction would be, but I guess you can self-hypnotize. So okay. I guess meditation
but you can need somebody to hypnotize you, basically, for the most part.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never really done self-hypnotism because it's kind of the thing where like if I'm in my own brain too much, I might stress myself out. Yeah. So I'd rather have somebody else just walk me through it. Because I don't want to be, the whole thing of therapy is I don't want to be stuck in my own brain. I need somebody else to talk to me.
Exactly.
But basically the function of hypnosis is, you have your conscious brain where you're just using it on a day-to-day basis. Like I can think things like it's nighttime out. That's a thing that I can consciously think. The subconscious brain is like these like instincts that are in you that help you out or hinder you in situations, but you can't consciously access. So basically the purpose of hypnosis, like in like media, there's kind of a misconception that it like causes you to do everything that they want you to do, which is not true at all.
Yeah.
You basically are just put into a subconscious state where your conscious brain talks to your subconscious brain. So like before a session, I'll tell my therapist the things that I want her to say, which is coming from my conscious brain because I'm telling her the things.
Yeah.
And then while I'm under, she will say those things to me and that communicates it to the subconscious brain. And the cool thing about hypnosis is even though somebody else is saying the words, it's entirely self-directed. So if your subconscious brain says, I don't like that, I'm not going to do that, then you're not going to do it. So that's really what's helping right now. I'm basically just kind of working through some of those innate trauma responses that I no longer need because I am in a good place.
Yeah.
Telling my brain, you don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Good. Yeah.
So if you ever feel like, hypnosis is something neat to try. It's
it's definitely intriguing for sure.
There's very few downsides to it. The only thing is like to you or to anybody who listens, if you're not in a good place, like if you're in like an abusive relationship, let's say, and you're trying to get rid of those trauma responses, that's not necessarily good because your brain might be giving you those gut reactions. That's a subconscious thought.
Yeah.
It might be giving you those gut reactions because it wants to protect you. Yeah. So you might not want to do hypnosis because you're probably not in a place to do it. But for me, I'm in a very stable situation right now.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Where I just want to get rid of them because I'm like, or not get rid of them, but just suppress them because I don't need them.
Yeah.
So Yeah, it's something, it's really interesting. Um, it's definitely best if you have like a subconscious thing that you're trying to get rid of, like maybe like an innate trauma response, or a phobia. Sometimes that can help. It actually, there has been some studies about hypnosis during a VCUG helping children, so I can definitely see that.
Hmm.
um, so yeah, it's really interesting. It might be something interesting to try, although I will say that if you have like a deep-seated problem, you're not going to get it done in one session. You're going to have to go several times.
Oh yeah.
But it's been helpful so far. I was a little bit skeptical. I originally was going to major in psychology, so I knew that hypnosis was legit. I just didn't know if it would affect me well, but it definitely did. And I guess in hindsight, I dissociate all the time, so it kind of makes sense.
The only time I've really heard about hypnosis and talked to people who have not even really talked to them directly, indirectly, or people that have quit smoking because of hypnosis.
That could definitely be a thing.
That's the only time I've heard about experiences with it.
Yeah, and
obviously I know it's a thing. I mean,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know it exists, and I know people wouldn't be doing it if people weren't going there and paying them to do it.
Well, so people will pay for all sorts of things that don't really work if they think it'll fix their problem.
Good point.
But hypnosis is legitimate. It's not some
been around for a
quack
long
science.
Time.
It is a quack science, as is depicted in like cartoons or whatnot.
Yeah.
But it's just telling yourself things that you want to be told and you want to do yourself. It's just helping your subconscious brain chill out about it. Like if my therapist said something to me during hypnosis that my subconscious brain did not like, it would not accept it. And I'm the one who tells her what to say. So I have run into situations where I've told her a phrase to say, she said it under hypnosis, and my subconscious brain is like, no, we're not doing that. And I'm like, okay, all right, we have to rephrase it because my subconscious brain is being all dramatic. We got to tell it something else,
Got to speak its language.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would say, yeah, trauma is really interesting. I think the best thing for me is just, if anyone goes through a traumatic experience, just talk to at least one person about it, or just like vent to somebody about it.
Yeah, keeping it to yourself is like the worst thing to do, I think.
Plus, like, honestly, just a lot of people have been traumatized or have been sexually abused. Like, it's sad, but it's true. And it's really not it doesn't say anything about you, and it's not a big deal in the sense of, like, people aren't really going to see you that differently, if at all. And if they do see you differently, then dump them,
Yeah, like, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I think ultimately that's kind of my takeaway of like, find people, especially who've been in similar situations as you, because my trauma is pretty specific, child sexual trauma, because it's not necessarily motivated by the same sort of like deviousness as a lot of other ones. So it's more about like I don't really think that the people doing that test were intending
for getting something out of it,
or like getting like any sort of like pleasure out of it, or intending to harm me.
Yeah.
I think it's just more scenario, negligence, and like my brain can still take it in as sexual trauma, even if I don't think the intentions were inherently like evil. So yeah, I think that's kind of, just talk to people, man. That's all you got to do.
Really? Seriously though, I mean,
do it in baby steps. One thing I was telling somebody, I was talking to somebody else who had been through VCUG trauma, and I was like, listen, like if one on your anxiety scale is like, I am 100% comfortable, nothing is wrong, and like 10 is like, I'm so anxious, I feel like I'm gonna die, do like a 1.5, like push yourself a tiny bit, just a tiny bit.
You have to start out with smaller things and work your way up. It's like, it's a high, what I did with my therapist was like a fear hierarchy, and kind of worked our way up the hierarchy, and I'm still working my way up too.
Yeah. And honestly, it's fine if you fall down. Like it's okay. Yeah, that's super normal though. Like that's something that people don't realize. and I don't know if you're necessarily talking about like relapses or anything, but I
No,
have
no, I'm talking about OCD. Therapy.
OCD.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that too. Anything like it's okay to, even if you go like back to the beginning, whatever, just start over.
That is how we treat relapses. I mean, being in recovery and somebody relapses, we just come back as soon as you can, like telling yourself, admit that you relapse as soon as possible and get back in. Don't, get stuck in that shame, that guilt, that, oh, I relapsed. So,
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep using, because then that's going to make it even harder to come back. The longer you stay out there, as they say, and keep doing what you're doing, the harder it is to get back on the path that you were on. And we are very used to, the recovery community. Some people have to relapse or go through multiple relapses before they get it. Not everybody's, goes into recovery and just never relapses. It's actually
It's
pretty
super
rare.
common. Like, yeah, like it's super common. I've dealt with like self-harm issues, and it's super common in self-harm too, to just relapse.
Yeah, recovering
like
from anything.
And it's fine. Like, it's just fine. Like, I guess I don't want to sound like I'm dismissing anyone, but it's okay. Like, it's no big deal.
Don't go do it, but
don't
if
go
it
do
happens,
it. But like, there's no reason to like psychologically self-harm yourself after you've done a harmful act. Just brush it off, man. I know that sounds bad, but like,
it sounds way easier said than done.
It totally is. But I think I'm just kind of talking to myself, maybe my past self at this point. But if something bad happens, if you relapse and your brain is all funky, just give it a little bit of time and just get back on your feet. If you relapse 20 times, it's fine. Whatever. Just keep going.
Yeah. Just keep remember the end goal and what you want, what you really want.
Yeah. I think the thing that helps too is just, it's super common to relapse. It's super common to go on a mental health journey and then get worse again. It's super common. It's super, super, super common.
Or go right back where you started from.
It's totally common. It's totally fine. It's totally normal. Like, I think when people get caught up in their own little brains, their little brain sounds mean. When they get caught up in their own brains, they think that like they are the exception and they are the worst thing ever. And nobody
everybody thinks they're so unique, and it's like, you really aren't, though.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay to like
you
love
are,
the unique
but you aren't.
parts of yourself, but your struggles are honestly not very unique. You're still
not
going
the
to
first
find
person
people
to ever experience this.
It's almost absurd. Like, when I first started going to therapy, I've had my same therapist for 10 years.
That's
when I
awesome.
first started going,
that's rare.
Yeah, she's really great. She's the first therapist I had, and I've had her for 10 years. When I first started going to her, I was like, it took me like 3 or 4 years to actually start talking about my problems, though.
Oh yeah, classic.
Which, knowing my background, you can kind of understand. But when I first started going to her, looking back, I was like, in my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's gonna think I'm so fucked up. I'm a 16-year-old with depression and self-harm. It's like, come on, man.
You know how many people she's talked to that has it?
Like, later on, I was talking to her and I was like, what's the most like messed up thing you've seen? And she told me something. I was like, okay, I think you've seen a few depressed teenagers that are not nearly as bad. Let's just say it was something extremely illegal.
Yeah.
She's worked with killers and whatnot before. So, and not just like self-defense killers, like people who like get pleasure out of it. Yeah. So I was like, I think I'm not that weird if I am like a 16-year-old suicidal child.
No, yeah, actually, you're weird if you're not. In a sense, well, at that age,
yeah, I mean, it's pretty common at that age.
It's very common. Mine was like 13, 14, but yeah, like,
honestly, I think I probably like had self-harm tendencies from like 6 or so. But they just didn't seem like it at the time. I had very weird ways, like I'd bite myself and stuff, and I didn't really know how to like classify that. Again, like at the time, I was like, I'm just a weird kid. I'm a weird kid. Yeah. I mean, I was a weird kid. I like weird things. Yeah. But not like, I'm a weird in a fun way.
Yeah.
The weird I was back then was traumatized.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I don't know. I think bottom line, just like open up to people and you're not that special, which sounds mean, but it's like in a good way.
Yeah, in a good way, I guess you're not that unique.
Yeah.
Um,
Your struggle is not that unique.
exactly.
There's a
That's the
bajillion
best way to
people
put it.
who have been through the same similar things as
That
you,
is
even
one
with
good
like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
that is one good thing about the internet though.
Hmm.
Like you were saying, you were able to find other people who have experienced the same type of, because you have a very unique story.
Yeah. Like I have a very unique trauma experience, but I was able to find a community of it. So
Mhm.
you can too.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
Whether it's Reddit or
Reddit's
Reddit.
the place to go
Reddit
if you
has
want to talk
everything.
people. See, that's the thing. Like I search up like VCUG and I see like all these like hospital records and I'm like, VCUG Reddit. And it's like, here's how the VCUG fucked me up. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I want.
Oh man, Reddit's just like, and Reddit hasn't changed like that much. That's the thing is about Reddit that's so cool. And I'm not even a huge Reddit nerd.
I don't, neither me, but
I have some friends that are just they've been deep into Reddit for years. But I
yeah.
know it's someplace you can go. I mainly use it to stream stuff when I don't want to pay for it.
I have never used it for that, but that does
like
not surprise me.
like I don't watch a lot of like UFC or anything like that, or
Oh
like
yeah.
pay-per-view. But you can usually find like a streaming or like if I was, or I just had my phone or and wanted to watch like a championship game or some type of sporting event where it was like, I obviously don't have any way to connect to any type of satellite or anything on my phone. I'd have to find a way to stream it. And Reddit was usually my go-to for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's all kinds of stuff and other communities. I mean, I've found a huge community of people of people with OCD and therapists that specialize in OCD on Instagram, actually.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Just a huge community. And I'm setting up well, they're gonna be basically kind of like podcasts, but we're gonna be doing Instagram lives where we go live together, and it helps us kind of basically mesh our followers together and go live and talk about OCD. And I'll be able to pick their brands because these are people like I had to one lady I had to schedule out because she's so busy and she has such a good following and she just creates awesome content.
That's cool.
I had to schedule her in June. Like,
oh boy,
it was like I can see my psychiatrist quicker than I can see you. And
that's true.
Which is funny. And yeah,
well, that's cool though.
But yeah, that's another good thing I like to bring up a lot is finding the right therapist and the right psychiatrist is so important, and somebody that you can really trust, and you having that relationship that you've had with your therapist for so long and not having to start over. I've had to start over with so many, and it's just like here we go. And there's just there's so many layers to me, and there's so many layers to everyone. That they have to peel all over again. Sometimes they get like a background, or they talk to the other therapist, but they can only tell them so much. And she usually only one phone call.
One thing I'm doing right now is I'm working through this self-help workbook. I'm always skeptical about self-help but I'm weird. This one's specifically for childhood sexual abuse survivors, and so it's kind of in my realm. But one of the things that it talks about is like, yes, you want to, it's good to reach out to anybody. It's good to reach out to any therapist, but also keep in mind, you are a consumer. You are allowed to say no
exactly
to a therapist.
That's another thing.
And I was talking to a friend who's been through similar experiences. And I was just saying,
because these are human beings. These are not like
yeah,
robot people that know everything.
you're allowed in any doctor situation, you're
Mhm.
allowed to say, I don't like the way you're treating me.
Yeah.
I don't like that you're invalidating my experiences. I don't want to continue with this.
Or I
You
don't like
know?
this recommendation.
No,
Or
yeah. And I really do think like I don't think you need to be skeptical of every doctor necessarily, even though my traumatized brain says you do.
no,
Actually,
but yeah,
that's gotten
you
better, but
you need to be somewhat skeptical, logical. You need to be
yeah.
logical about it.
It's okay to be, I think the bottom line is it's okay to be upfront with what you need.
Exactly. It's actually preferred. Yeah,
It
you should be.
it helps everybody. And if they don't agree with it, then you're not a good match. It might not even be they're a bad person. It might not be that they
Yeah.
want anything bad for you. You just might not be a good match. You need to find someone else. That's something you have to kind of learn with seeking out therapy. It's nice to talk to people. It's nice to make connections, but like they're also a person you are hiring to help you. So they need to meet your expectations. And I think being a little bit firm with what you need can go a long way.
Yeah, I have to remind my what something I've learned from just years of therapy and different therapists is my ability, and I think it's subconsciously, sometimes consciously, to it's more subconsciously, but to throw my therapist off and just talk about something completely different and just throw them off topic and start talking about something. And then the session's over and we didn't talk about anything that we should have talked about.
Yeah.
I've done that so many times. So I had to be upfront with my last two therapists and be like, hey, look, I do this. You need to like call me out. I don't care how you do it. Be like, hey, we need to get back on track. Because this is something that I do. It's like a defense mechanism.
Yeah, I mean that's really avoidance. I've done that too.
I love avoidance. It's my
well, I mean, like you were talking about,
but
about my compulsions. It's the same principle. Like I definitely, like I said, I mean, I didn't really actually dig into my issues until like 3 or 4 years into therapy because I was just like, yeah, school's good. It's all good. Don't worry about it.
Let's not talk about this. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is just they've seen everything. It's not that shocking if you go into a place and you're like, oh, I have an eating disorder. Oh, I'm depressed. Oh, I use drugs. Oh, they've seen everything. It's not going to be wild. You're not going to shock someone.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to the Modern Day Overthinker podcast. Remember to drop a review on Apple or Spotify if you're listening there, or any other platform you can leave a review. I'd really appreciate it. More episodes coming soon. I'm trying to stay consistent as possible. Head on over to www.moderndayoverthinker.com for all the links that you need to follow and keep up with me on social media. And for all the new episodes that drop, make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast networks. If you find a podcast platform we are not on, please let me know.